Hi, guys. Welcome back. It's Sports with Mono and Mono. It's January 11th, 2025. And of course, I'm here with Eli Weintraub, my trusty co-host. Eli, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy Saturday. And we have a
Yeah,
lot of sports to talk about. And we have a special guest coming on very soon.
yeah. Very, very nice young man and Emmy Award winner. So we've had a bunch of those. So, of course, we always start our show with the monologue, which, of course, is always sponsored by Coriano Trucking, Summerhill, New York. And so, Eli, the regular season wrapped up last week, and we're into the playoffs. And of course, what follows is Black Monday. A lot of firings, a lot of open positions. And I think my point that I want to make is when you're looking at, and let me think. Let's see, we got the Raiders, the Saints, Jacksonville, New England, and potentially Dallas with head coaching openings.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
but
Dallas, they
there's a
said that they're keeping him. I
they
believe
did
Dallas is going to
okay,
keep him because the Cowboys have denied permission to the Bears,
Bears.
Chicago Bears, for an interview. So that kind of hints that he's going to likely stay.
Okay. Well, but you also have a lot of general managers, and of course, the
Yeah.
big story is here with the Giants and whether or not Dable or Shane or both or none were going to get let go, and the Maras decided to stick with the plan. So I don't know how a lot of people feel about it. I like Brian Dable, but the numbers in this season was just a travesty.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out pretty soon if that's going to be the right move. And the
Well,
funny
I
thing
think,
is, Eli, with all of these job openings, and then we hear about all of the names that are floating around, right? They kind of recycle these guys. Like you hear John Gruden's name, you hear Rex Ryan saying,
yeah,
he
he wants
wants
to
to
come
be
back.
the Jets, right? And now you hear Pete Carroll is in the mix, and there was
Okay.
even
Pete Carroll makes sense. He's a
yeah,
decent
but
coach.
right, but there was also stories floating around like Bill Belichick was going to leave North Carolina and take an NFL job, and I
Yeah.
would love for people to give me their thoughts, and in particular, I have a friend of mine that's whose uncle is Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, and he got let go.
Yeah.
Um, but he's got a great reputation, so he's going to land on his feet. But I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Dame and Shane and Dable should count their lucky stars.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm
right
going to go
now,
to, go ahead.
yeah, I forgot to mention that, of course, we still have this whole situation with the Jets. They don't have a GM yet. They don't have a head coach yet, and we'll talk to Kevin about that too, because I know his
Who knows if
father.
he has a quarter? They have a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
fair.
I'm kind of interested to get Kevin's take on that.
Well, now I'm going to go into some new stuff here, but from not new stuff, but into that in just a second. But back to Bill Belichick. I know you mentioned it. Did you see he was in Jersey this week? He went to Bergen Catholic and St. Joe's. He went to all those schools this week. He went to go to meet the football programs. I was
Of
shocked to see that.
Of course, I actually had a picture sent to me by Andy Carrollin, one of our loyal listeners, but Bill Belichick with some, three of the stars. So I when I saw it, I said, well, I'm sure he's doing a Bergen Catholic and Don
Of course.
Bosco stop as well.
And who knew
Yeah, but
St. Joe's was on the list too?
yeah, they were there. I got a picture. It
Yeah.
was on
Unfortunately,
Uncle.
not St. Mary's though. But
Well,
all right. But let's get into the firings and stuff. Well, the Giants with Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Okay, Joe Shane had to go because we know he made a lot of dumb decisions. We know Saquon Barkley was one of them, the biggest one in reality. Not getting a proper quarterback, that was number 2 on the list. Jaden Daniels was an option, never went up for that one. That was disappointment there. And for Brian Dable, that was a 50-50 situation to me. Because you see, Brian Dable, he had a bad season. He had 3 quarterbacks. None of it worked. But yet, he's not a bad coach. Like, he's one of those, like, it depends on who he has on his team and who he has to work with. So, yeah, I could see why they gave Dable another chance. Joe Shane, I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why they gave him
right.
another chance. That's a different argument for a different day. But,
Because they think it's a package deal, and
yeah,
the
some
both of
package
them
deal.
together.
Yeah.
But listen, if they start out the season next year 1-5, both of them are going to be gone by week 7. So
100%.
yeah,
For the Colts, they kept Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen. Okay, Chris Ballard, I think, had to go. I think it was, about time. Shane Steichen, again, another 50-50 situation. He's an sometimes good, sometimes bad coach, and we've seen a
Yeah.
lot of up and down movement from this Colts. They can't,
Mhm.
for some reason, they have a winning season, but they don't get to the playoffs. We're seeing like interesting stuff happen with the Colts, and I think it's just wrong decisions. The Raiders, they fired Tom Palesco and Antonio Pierce. Had to be done. No question about it. You're
No
just about
doubt.
there. If the Patriots would have lost the game against Buffalo, Gerard Mayo would have had his job still. But because
Yeah, and
they lost the pick, he had to get fired. Bottom line.
yep. And what's going on? Like I said, when we hear these names that keep coming up, like um, guys like Aaron Glenn he deserves a shot. Ben Johnson deserves a shot.
Absolutely.
I can't stand these recycled guys, especially Rex Ryan. That would be if I was a Jet fan, I would have nothing to do
Yeah,
with
but
Rex.
with all the other coaches that are out there right now, Rex Ryan seems like the best fit for New York.
Uh,
Really, I mean, all the other coaches that are available that could possibly go to the Jets, Rex Ryan, I think, is the best one that you could possibly send there because
yeah,
he
and
has
I think
experience. He knows how to coach. He's been watching a lot of film lately with ESPN. I think
mhm.
he's the perfect fit.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of his, although he did have some results. That's for
He did
sure.
have some results. Other firings that happened. Titans part ways with GM Ron Carton. That had to be done. No question about it. Browns, they fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Had to be done. The offense was just horrible for the Browns. Colts fired defensive coordinator Gus Bradley. Had to be done. No question about it there. Doug Peterson gets fired from the Jaguars. Yeah, I could see why they did that.
Saw that
Yeah,
coming.
although, yeah, saw that coming there. And the Seahawks, they fired offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, which, I guess had to be done because the defense has improved, but the offense, nothing's working with Geno Smith. The offense wasn't exactly the greatest out there, so it had to be done, I think.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is all going to start to unfold over the next week or so because a lot of the candidates have been interviewed, and but you got guys like Mike Vrabel who will definitely land a job. Um,
Absolutely.
that's for sure. Um,
There are a lot of these guys that can get a job, no problem.
I think Brian Flores may be getting a job as well.
Yeah.
But you got to remember this thing with Gruden and the NFL. He could be blackballed from getting back into this league after what took place. And great coach, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna to have players that want to play for a guy after reading some of the stuff that he wrote. That's going to be a tough call.
Absolutely.
You
Uh,
all right, Eli. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna have our show next week, and
we'll talk more about it. And now, also, one more name I want to bring up real quick as we wait for Kevin to come on in. I think if the Steelers lose tonight versus the Ravens, don't be surprised that Mike Tomlin goes. Why do I say that? All right, if it's not this year, maybe next year. Here's my reason why. Yes, they have a winning season. Okay. Yes, they're in the playoffs. But how many times are in the playoffs? They're in the playoffs pretty much every single year. And yet, where's the run going? They can't get past the first round ever. And when it comes
yeah,
down to these good teams, they cannot do good at all. I mean, look at the past couple games. The Chiefs they lose to, Eagles they lose to. The amount of teams that they've lost to, it's kind of sad. It really is.
yeah.
And I
Well, I
think
don't think
at one point
Pittsburgh.
he has to go. And I think Russell Wilson is not the answer. They should be starting Justin Field. That's what I also say as well.
That's going to be the deciding factor because he put it all on Russell Wilson. They lost 4 straight coming into the playoffs. So, but he's a great coach.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's a great coach, but I think it's time for him to move along with Pittsburgh. That's what I think.
Could be, and I apologize again because I'm.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, we know everybody's getting it.
Everybody's got something.
Yeah.
I think Kevin's going to join us in a minute.
Yes, he is not here yet, but we do have a comment from Diego. He says, "Hello, boys. Thank you for watching, Diego."
Oh, Diego, by the way, was very happy last week when we covered some soccer here.
Yeah, he was. I'm sure he was.
He's a Premier League guy, no doubt. Okay, let's see.
We're standing by for him right now.
Yeah, you should be joining in a second here.
Yeah, we'll be waiting for him.
Now,
And I'll-
just kind of to set the stage, Kevin is a news photographer, ABC7 in New York,
Yep.
and just won his first Emmy for coverage of, well, I guess it was considered a riot in Union Square about 6 months ago, but he's been on different stations across the country, and we're going to let him fill us in on it. But yeah, that's the big thing when you get recognized by your peers an Emmy Award. So, okay. Let's see.
Yep, and we're reaching out to him now.
While we're waiting for Kevin. Kevin and Kevin's dad was a dear friend of mine, and
Yeah.
used to have to go to the
Um,
Jet games with him once a year.
Yeah. All right. So we just reached out to Kevin. We're waiting for him to see when he joins in. In the meantime, let's you know what? We're gonna go to the entertainment and photo segment. We're gonna do that first. We'll get that out the way now. Oh no, he's here. Oh, here it is.
Where's Kevin?
Here we go.
Hey, hear me?
Hey, hello, how are
Kevin.
you?
Hey there.
How's it going?
Good
Good, how
morning,
are you?
Kevin. Thanks for coming on with us.
No, I'm happy to do it. How's everyone doing?
We were just
Excellent.
good. We were just talking about your resume. You've got quite an extensive resume, but I wanted to first bring up and say congratulations on your Emmy.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate
great.
it. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite an honor.
Your father would be very proud of you, young man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, he would be.
So what was the story? What led us to Kevin Jaeger winning an Emmy Award?
Hold on one second. Well, it was a story about there was like a riot in Union Square. There was some TikToker who was saying he was going to give out PlayStations, and all these teens descended on Union Square. And so we heard on the scanner something was going on, so they sent us down there, and we didn't really know what it was. We kind of just ended up right in the middle of all the action, and we're broadcasting live from within the riot. And it was kind of just unique circumstances to broadcast news from in the middle of just such crazy activity.
Yeah,
But I mean, it wasn't just me who won the award. It was a team effort. There was a whole bunch of people at ABC7 who won it. There's a lot of good journalists who worked there, so it wasn't just me. It was a team effort for broadcasting that crazy scene last year.
Yeah, I know. I remember it very well. So again, like I said, all our congratulations for that work on it, and I know your mom is proud too. So
yeah, yep.
So Kev, I want to ask a couple of quick questions here.
Sure.
You know, we see what's going on out in the wildfires in California. How is the technology, like the drone technology, how does that impact your coverage of a particular event? This is a whole new thing, right? I mean,
it really is a whole new thing, and it really varies by location. So like in New York, for instance, this pretty much can't fly drones anywhere in the city. So our news organization isn't big on them. We still use the old-fashioned chopper everywhere, because you can put up and put down pretty easily, and there's no really restrictions in New York against it. Out in LA, it's a little different. I think they can fly drones a little bit more freely, and so that's a big part of news coverage now is drones, because it's so easy to just put them up. Like pretty much all the news crews have one in the back of the car now, and anywhere you go, if you can legally fly, they're expected to put it up and get some aerial shots. But I know out in California, because of the weather and because of the firefighters flying stuff, it probably makes it very difficult to fly there. So I'd be very cautious flying over there.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's just terrible devastation going on out
Oh
there.
yeah, it's really awful out there, and yeah, I hope everything gets better quick, because it just seems like it's unending. Like it's one fire after another, and they can't seem to get under control. So it's quite a situation.
Could you explain your role? Could you explain your role like at ABC and like what your day of life is like?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm what they call a news photographer. So I'm basically a cameraman, and so every day I go into work, I hop in a news truck, I meet up with a reporter, and I'm sent to a story. And so we report the story from the field. I shoot and edit it, the reporter writes it and fronts the story. And yeah, every day it's kind of different. I'm with a different reporter every day. We're on a different story every day. So some days can be quite challenging. Some days can be fun. You just never know what you're walking into.
Right.
That's awesome. And now we know that ABC, they're moving to 7 Hudson Square soon. Is that going to affect you guys at all or on the move or anything?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's kind of a work in progress right now. They're moving downtown. Right now we're in Lincoln Square,
Yep.
which is Upper West Side. They're moving downtown. The issue is there's no garage in the building they're moving to.
Oh,
So they're going to be keeping the trucks all in Long Island City.
Oh,
So we're going to be starting a day in Long Island City and then meeting up with reporters elsewhere. So it's going to be kind of a work in progress. But yeah, that move is it's quite a big move because all of Disney is combining like all of their offices into one building down in Tribeca, and this huge skyscraper. So that's going to be cool. But yeah, ABC7, who's been in this location in the Upper West Side for 60 years or so, is finally moving downtown. And it's actually starting right now. And some people have already started moving. I haven't yet, but yeah, it's going to be a process this year. That's for sure.
wow.
Well,
That's going to be a big adjustment.
Kev, you've had some other. You've been around, right? You've worked for some other stations and so forth.
Oh yeah.
And one thing in particular, and I wanted to get your, what was this all about? Kevin Jaeger in the White House. Tell us about that little event.
Oh yeah. So back in I think it was 2013 or 2014, I won I worked at the ABC affiliate in Washington D.C. and I won a White House News Photographers Award for just a story I did about cold weather in Washington D.C. It was like an unseasonably cold day in the middle of summer, and I shot a very visual story about it. I was a member of the White House News Photographer Association because I covered White House news or whatever. I just submitted the award, the story for an award. I won an award, and as a perk for winning the award is you get invited to the Oval Office. You got to meet the president. Barack Obama was the president at the time, so I got to meet him, get my picture taken with him in the Oval Office. So that was quite a cool honor. That seemed like a lifetime ago. It was 10 years ago, but yeah, it was a cool honor.
That's great. Congratulations.
That's
on
awesome.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
And now, what was your favorite thing you covered so far, like while working with ABC?
That's a good question. I've covered so much stuff. The one story that sticks out the most for me, and it's sports related, is the I don't know if you remember the Michael Vick dogfighting story. I was working in Norfolk, Virginia at that time, which is where the dogfighting house was in that area, and I was the first photographer on scene to get video of the feds raiding the place and bringing out all the dog equipment. So I just remember seeing all my stuff on like ESPN and CNN, and that was pretty cool. And even to this day, when anyone references that story and they show video, a lot of that stuff is my stuff. So that's pretty cool. Kind of my video lives on in that respect, even though it was a terrible story, but it all worked out because Michael Vick kind of turned his life around and he's doing good things now. So
yeah, he just actually landed a job as the head coach at I don't want to say Howard, maybe.
I think yes. I don't know if it's Howard or Hampton. I think it's actually down near Norfolk area, or maybe it's Norfolk State. I'm not sure. It's one of those schools, but yeah, it's cool. It's good for him.
Hey, Kev, I want to ask you something because first of all, you went to the University of Miami, and I know you covered the football team. Who was the quarterback when you were in school?
All right, so my freshman and sophomore year, it was Kenny Dorsey. And then my junior and senior year it was Brock Berlin, followed by Kyle Wright, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ken Dorsey was a good quarterback. Won a national championship my freshman year in 2001. That was like one of the maybe the greatest college football team ever to play. So that was cool.
No, that was cool. But unfortunately, Ken Dorsey got fired this week as well.
He did. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I'm sure he's happy to get out of that mess in Cleveland, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, Kev, I want to ask you because I'm sure you still follow Miami, right? And
I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The draft is coming up, and I want your take because a lot of people, there seems to be a mixed bag of is Cam Ward the franchise type quarterback that can come in and win immediately, do what C.J. Stroud did last year? What's your take on Cam Ward?
I think he is a potential franchise quarterback. He can come in and win immediately because he did so in Miami. He just came in this year in Miami, turned the team totally around, and we were competing at some point for a playoff spot. Obviously, that fell apart toward the end of the year. But Cam came in and played like he knew what he was doing, and he's had that experience because he started at Incarnate Word, then went to Washington State, then went to Miami. So he's bounced around, and he knows how to succeed. So I think whatever team drafts him, they're going to get a good player there. He's a smart kid, hard worker. can kind of make magic happen on the field. He kind of makes plays happen. So I think he's definitely going to have a good career in the NFL.
Well, that lends credence to the quarterback university that Miami has had over the years, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know if you just saw the news that Carson Beck, the Georgia quarterback, is now transferring to Miami. Yeah. So I mean, hopefully that'll
Help him out.
bode well for Miami. It was a rough end to our season, and then there's a lot of questions with Cam leaving. Who's going to lead the Miami next year? And I'm happy Beck's there. I don't know if he's quite as good as Cam Ward, but we'll see.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I didn't actually hear about that. See, that's breaking news.
Yeah, it just happened. It just happened last night. Yeah. I mean, everyone was expecting it because Carson Beck actually dates someone on the Miami women's basketball team, so everyone was kind of expecting him to go down there. Yeah.
Well, they had to tie in eventually.
And Kev,
exactly.
I just wanted to get your take because you know how your dad and I were very close friends for many years, and you know, and I just always think about what would he be thinking now with this whole Aaron Rodgers and
my God
situation. I mean, what was your take on it when it first happened? Did you say this is going to work out or this is not going to work out? That's what I said. It was never going to work.
From the moment I heard it, I knew it was not going to work out. I mean, it had the same old Jets written all over it. I mean, just bringing this big name into the city who's going to try and run the show, and the team's so messed up already. I didn't see how it was going to work, and I honestly didn't think it would be as big a disaster as it was. I thought they'd be competitive. I thought they'd be like a 500 team. They'd win some games, lose some games, but they've been a total disaster. And I mean, it's just a typical same old Jets. I mean, they can't get it right. Well, and it starts at top. I mean, it's the ownership. They have to change the owner, and then things will change. Because you see what happened with like the Washington Commanders. You know, they got that owner out. The whole attitude of the organization changes, and I think that's what the Jets need personally.
Yeah, I think Woody Johnson is a buffoon. I don't understand why he makes these decisions that he does, and it's crazy. But how about your Miami Dolphins, Kev? What's your take on your Dolphins?
It's another frustrating year because it seems like we're stuck in mediocrity. I mean, Tua's a great quarterback. He just can't stay healthy. And if he's not on the field, the team can't perform. I don't know. I'm surprised they kept McDaniels and Greer. I thought they were going to move on from them, but I don't know.
How quickly things change because, 2 years ago, Mike McDaniel was the darling of Miami, and now people are calling for his head like it's not working out.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, I mean, when Tua went down, you expected them to have like a plan and maybe run some innovative offense to kind of deal with the fact that he's not there. But when Tua went out, they just kind of just muddled along and didn't really do anything. And I blame that on the coach. Like, I can't believe they didn't have like a competent backup in place and like a plan for if Tua gets hurt, which is likely to happen.
Yeah,
it's been frustrating. The Dolphins, it's tough to be a Dolphins fan.
Hey, it's right now. It's tough to be a Giants fan as well. So
that's true too. Oh yeah, that's very true.
And who's your Super Bowl pick? Who do you think is going to win it?
I think it's going to be Detroit, Buffalo, and I don't like either team. I kind of want Detroit to win, but I think Buffalo has the momentum right now.
Yeah, they do. But there's also always number 15 in Kansas City that you
can't stop him.
Right?
That's true, and they keep finding ways to win. I want to see some different teams. I'm sick of Kansas City and Mahomes, and I mean they're good, but
Patriots.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, but it's nice to see Detroit do well. I mean, Detroit's a good story, and they're fun to watch. Yeah. They can score.
Yeah, they can. They can.
Yeah. Who are your guys' picks for the Super Bowl right now?
Well, I think it has to be Kansas City. I mean, they're going to be in it they're going to win it all. I think.
I think so. I think they get to there and. Although this could be the year that Buffalo can knock them off. I'm not betting. Kev, if you listen to my show, I'm not a sports gambling guy. I'm completely opposed to it, 100%. I think it could compromise the integrity of the game, and the concept of guys losing their houses while sitting on their couch in their living room is disturbing.
It's too easy.
Yeah, and I do think because. As good as Baltimore has been and potentially an MVP year again for Lamar Jackson, he has not won the big game yet. And until you do, you got to take a back seat to number 15. So
it's true. Yep. And Kansas City and Mahomes, they just know how to win. And it's hard to put put a value on that. I mean, they're going to be in it at the end. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, and Kev, I'm always a character guy too. I believe
Mhm.
the character of a player, not only just his talent. And you see this time and time again, like guys with a lot of talent, but they lack character and they cause dissension on a team. And we see this all over the place, right? In Miami, right? Tyreek Hill now,
Yep.
same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Yep. Or the Miami Heat. I'm a big Miami Heat fan, and we're dealing with it with Jimmy Butler right now too. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
well, that's another
tough.
argument there. But yeah,
wow,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can't stand it when these guys just walk into the office and said Butler's got 2 years left on his contract, and he says I want to be traded, and I would say
Yep.
you're not getting traded. You sit, and I'm going to fine you, and you're not going to get paid. That's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly. Yeah, but you can't win basketball games when you're sitting a guy and finding a guy like he's not going to help your team. It's a tough situation. Yeah, it's really a generational thing. I think it's new generation of players just they have a problem with management, I guess, and having people tell them what to do. They want to be in charge, which I get, but it's tough. It's interesting times we live in, that's for sure.
It sure is, Kev.
Yeah.
But listen, I just really, really appreciate you coming on with us and
Sure, happy to
giving
do
your
it.
background. And like I said, I know you're a sports guy as well as a photographer for ABC News. And you cover the gamut. And like I said, you and I go back a long, long way. And it was really just wanted to make sure our audience, recognizes you and the talent that you brought to your profession and the insight you bring to the sports talk as well. Thanks, Kev.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I've listened to your show, and I like what you guys do. You guys are doing good work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you,
Kev.
appreciate it.
it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Be good,
Problem.
Kev.
All right, thanks for having me. Happy to do it.
All right, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Take care.
Thank you, Kev.
Bye. All right, well, that was awesome.
That's a nice guy right there.
Yeah, really nice guy, and it's amazing
Yes, it
how
was.
you learned
Nice
something
guy.
too. I mean, I didn't know about that they had to park their trucks in Long Island City for with the part of the new move to Hudson Square. I just learned that now. That's incredible. Because we knew about the whole building that they were going to get at Disney, but to move the trucks to Long Island City now, his commute, and then he's got to go all the way downtown. It's gonna be some commute for him, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't ask him where he's living, but yeah,
gonna be some
that was
commute,
great.
though.
That was a great
Everybody.
segment. Great
Yeah,
segment.
great job, though.
Hope his mom watches it. And all right,
Yeah.
Eli. So let's first start. We'll get back to the NFL in a
We'll go to
moment,
college
right?
football first.
Yeah, let's do this because I have a friend of mine at work, and he said when Penn State beats Notre Dame, I want to shout out onto the show. Well, it didn't happen. So Derek, you're getting a shout out on the show, but not probably
Not in the best way
you
possible.
expected.
But speaking of getting a shout out, Tom commented. He said, "Go Chiefs!" And let us know about your Super Bowl picks and stuff, and any thoughts that you thought was great from the interview today.
Yes. Tom is also a new resident of Kansas City, so
All right.
he's adopted his hometown team.
And Tom said, "Go Irish."
Yes, so that was very, very exciting. And I felt pretty confident because I took Notre Dame and I felt pretty confident about it. I think, a lot of the accolades that they threw on Drew Aller, he came up a little short in some big situations. And but the Irish took advantage of it. And so they're going to face Ohio State. And I must say, I'm sure I don't know what the early line is going to be, but I would think Notre Dame may be an underdog to Ohio State because Ohio State looks really good right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State really looks like the favorite there, but Notre Dame, though, they really been putting up a fight. They came very close in the game versus Penn State. It was 27-24 the final. Very close game, came down to the wire. But I think, to me, Ohio State had two big blowouts within the last week, and that include the number one Oregon and Texas this week.
Yeah.
They look like the favorites, and I don't think Notre Dame could potentially stand a chance against Ohio State. But again, it also comes down to injuries. We saw, I think, one clip of the quarterback. He had like a big bubble on his hand and stuff. We don't know if that's going to big factor in and stuff. It was like a big knot. And these are the little things that we're going to have to watch between now and come Monday. Because now it's almost a week difference between these two. Oh, and hello, Bobby.
How about them Irish, baby? How about them Fighting Irish? Let's go!
Hello,
All right.
Robert. Happy New Year, pal.
What's up, buddies? How are you?
I know
Oh.
you're excited about Notre Dame. I am as well.
My TikTok video so far has almost 15,000 views.
Wow. All right.
I did a little rant because I was so excited and emotional about it that I posted it. Got like 15,000 views or almost.
I know you were
Wow.
happy. I know. Me too, though. Me too.
All
What's
right,
up,
guys.
fellas?
Give me your assessment of not just as a Notre Dame fan, but how they stack up against a really loaded Ohio State football team.
If you remember last year, we played Ohio State early in the season. We lost by field goal, or I'm not sure if it was a field goal or a touchdown, when we only had 10 men on the field. And that was with Marvin Harrison Jr. on the team.
Yeah. Was.
Okay. This quarterback's from Kansas. He's done a great job, Howard, but we have the best defense in football right now. So
Yeah.
You know what happened with the Irish the past decade. They noticed that they needed more speed. Now there's more speed on their team. If we would have lost against Penn State the other night, you would have. The first thing I would have said is we need more size because Penn State was huge. You know they're pushing our front line, our defensive line back, which is not good.
Yeah,
That's why they were so successful running.
That guy Abdul Carter is one hell of a player too. No doubt about it.
Exactly. But now that we've went over that hurdle, I think because of last year's close game, that we have a definite shot. I do not foresee another Notre Dame championship game blowout like we've experienced 3 times in a row now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman is a different breed. Marcus Freeman is a different breed. Is a different coach. He knows what he's doing. You got Al Golden, former NFL coach. You have the guy from LSU. I forget his last. The offensive coordinator who's doing a great job. And Riley Leonard is, as much as he was maligned after that Northern Illinois loss, he has turned it around big time.
Yes, he has. And I admire his courage. He's not afraid to run with it. He's tough. He takes the hits, and that could be dangerous at times. But all right, well, thanks for jumping on with us because we got a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, and guys, great job in the interview as well. I was listening.
Well, thank you. And Tom says he wants more Bobby energy like that.
Let's go. More Bobby. See, everybone wants more Bobby. Take care, fellas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Bobby.
Yep.
Thank you, Rob.
All right.
All right, Eli.
I gotta get off here. Hold on.
Welcome back, everyone. We are live again with Sports with Mono and Mono. We are sorry for the technical issues. Jim is joining us right now. Jim, we are back. We are live. New link. We're going to resend that out to everybody, but we're still in the middle of the college football segment. Go for it, Jim. Where are we at?
Yeah. All right. Well,
all the issues we're working on resending the link to everybody right now. We're very sorry.
We apologize for that little glitch there. Anyway, and then there were 2. So let's just keep an eye on it, right? We got a couple other quick things on college football because we talk about the college football playoff, Eli, but also we were following the Division 3, right? North Central beat Mount Union, and we talked about Mount Union, very dominant in that space, and they got beat. And also North Dakota won the FCS Division II championship by beating Montana State. And that's a powerhouse as well. A former, I think, who went there? Jared Goff?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway. Just reposting right now on all the social media to get everybody back up. But go for it, Jim.
All right. Let's move on.
Frankie comments. He says, good morning. Great game last night. Archie should have played.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of feelings that Quinn Ewers has gone, and his days are actually numbered because he's gotten one of those nil offers from some other team. I forgot which one, but yeah, Frankie, it's hindsight, I guess, but he got them to the dance, but Arch Manning will get his shot after this year. So,
Indeed.
all
And we welcome
right,
back
guys.
everyone who joined us. Thank you again for staying with us. We
Yep.
are sorry again for the technical issues, and we're now going to move right along to our next segment, the NFL.
Yes. So it's playoff weekend, but let's first recap our regular season, and I think you may have something to put up there pertaining to.
Oh, yes. Let me get to that right now, and I'm going to continue to post all over that we're still live. Here it is.
Well, it's
Jim
official.
is the regular season champion.
All right. So maybe we'll
Well,
just start a new
hold on.
crown for the playoffs.
Here it is. There it is. The champion himself, Jim. Final score 44-41. There it is, folks.
It's not by how many, it's just by all it takes is one. But it was a great competition, Eli, and we'll do it again next year for sure.
All right.
But let's jump into the playoff picture now. It's all set, and there's slate of games over the next 4 days. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, right? And I'm going to go down. I'm going to give you my picks on the 6 games, and then Eli,
Yep.
you can give me your 6. All right. First game, Chargers Texans. I know this is a lot of people don't feel as though the Texans can compete with the Chargers. I disagree. I'm going to take the Texans because I haven't until Justin Herbert wins games where he just doesn't throw for 400 yards. He can throw for 400 yards, but he has to win. And I don't think this is the time to do it. So I'm taking the Texans in that game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. And of course, you and I, we talked a little bit about your feelings on Tomlin and so forth. Yeah, they're going in on a 4-game losing streak. And, with what Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry have done, I think that's going to be a fairly easy win for them. Buffalo and Denver. Now, listen, Buffalo has a lot of support around the league. But, again, this is the same story. Josh Allen hasn't been able to win the big game. So this is a big test for them. I think, they've overcome a lot of injuries and still won. And I think Josh Allen is very, very hungry for this. So I'm going with Buffalo.
Okay.
Kind of the crappy game of the weekend, if you will, the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not sure what's the story on Love. Is he playing the game or not?
Love is scheduled to play. Yes, he will play.
All right. And then there was questions surrounding Jalen Hurts coming out of concussion protocol. So, it's not going to be a blowout, but I think Philadelphia will take care of business.
Okay.
And again, I apologize that this cold we're dealing with here. So the next game is Washington, Tampa Bay. And you can't deny the year Jaden Daniels has had. Got these guys to the playoffs. But Tampa Bay is at home. And I've been telling guys, Derek Krug and Frankie Pisani, that Baker Mayfield has surprised me a lot. I didn't know that he has kind of this fire in him that he didn't seem to have. Obviously in Cleveland, you can write that off. But I'm going to take Tampa Bay to beat the Commanders in an upset today.
Okay.
And the final game, Minnesota is playing the Rams on Monday night. So that'll
Yes, in
wrap
Arizona.
up. Yeah, they did move the game because of the wildfires. A lot of people think that the Rams could pull this upset. I think even though Minnesota didn't look good against Detroit last week, I think they bounced back and they beat the Rams. So
Okay.
there's my picks, Eli. Texans, Baltimore, Buffalo, Philly, Tampa, and Minnesota. What says you, my partner?
All right. Well, I'm going to be doing a jack of all trades right now. Well, let's get to the picks. By the way, the NFL announced it's no longer Super Wild Card Weekend. It's just Wild Card Weekend. They decided the Super was no need for it. So just a little random fact in case you did not know. Now you know.
Semantics.
The Chargers, they'll take a victory over the Texans 24-8. Reason why? Texans have not been playing good football. They're battling a lot of injuries. It's got to be the Chargers. The Ravens, they take on the Steelers on Prime Video tonight. It's got to be the Ravens. The Steelers have been struggling so much lately. It's got to be the Ravens 35-17. Buffalo, they take on Denver. I'm going to go with Buffalo. Buffalo, they look like the better team. They're going to go past the first round. Don't know how far they're going to go. Give me Buffalo 38-20. Philadelphia, they take on the Packers. Great game that is, but I don't trust this Packers team at all. I'm going to go with Philadelphia in a close one, 28-24. Commanders, they take on the Buccaneers. Guess what? Upset pick of the week. Give me the Commanders. I think they're going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-23. They're going to have the CJ Stroud type year that the Texans had last year. It's got to be the Washington Commanders.
Wow. Okay.
The Rams, they take on the Vikings. Give me the Vikings 26-24. And that's it. Give
All right,
me
so we
Chargers,
differ.
Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Commanders, Vikings.
So we
I'm gonna continue to
differ
oppose.
on two games. So the Charger game and the Viking. No, and the Commanders game. So
Yeah.
all right, we'll do. We'll see how that is. Folks, send us, a comment or send us an
Yes.
email. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Wild Card Weekend. Yeah, a lot of games. And you and I talked about it. There's only one of the games, which is tonight. Baltimore and Pittsburgh is on Prime
Correct.
Video.
Prime Video.
Yeah.
Yes, they're on Prime
Yeah.
Video tonight. Everything else is on normal television for once. Hallelujah. You could all
Yeah.
celebrate about that. And no Peacock this year. So that's one good thing. I mean, I believe Prime Video is a little bit cheaper than Peacock, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they offer a 30-day free trial. So you can watch the game and don't have to worry about spending a dime. So that's the benefit of it.
Yep. Okay. All right. We covered that verbatim. Let's just touch base on real quick on college hoops. Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I watched the number one team, Tennessee, get absolutely annihilated by Florida. So being number one in college basketball is no ticket to a perfect season, and we saw a team get routed on the road. So another cool thing to watch is this Cooper Flag. I'm more and more impressed with this kid. He just turned 18 years old. He looks like a grown guy, probably going to be the number one pick in the upcoming NBA draft, right?
100%.
We're keeping a close eye on certain things with, my Niagara Purple Eagles. I don't think this is going to be their year either.
I don't think so either. But Tom comments. He says Niagara. Hey, good for. I'm representing my Devils because they're playing tonight, so I got to represent Devils.
Yeah.
You're representing the Hoosiers. We got to work both ways. Tom comments. He says, "Let's go Hoosiers."
Yeah, Tom's a grad of them, and of course they got a lot of good top recruits. But the question is Mike Woodson the right guy to lead that team? We'll find out soon enough. So,
Yes.
All right, Eli, let's move on to some random points.
Yes, and that, of course, is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. And we're going to catch up again. If any news that we missed throughout the little delay in switching of the links, we will get to right now momentarily. So we will get to that very soon. Okay. But go for it.
And we actually do have in our picture segment our sponsor, Mike Lynch.
Yes.
And I'll talk to that when we get there. So
yes, indeed.
So we kind of briefly mentioned about the USA hockey, the World Juniors. How exciting was that? They were down by 2 goals. They rally back and win it. These are the future NHL players, so it's very exciting.
It was pretty exciting to watch. It's really amazing.
It sure was. A couple other things. Now, I saw the video. There's a tradition in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
The Hershey bear toss.
The bear toss.
Yeah.
I just wonder, the number that they said was 104,000 stuffed animals. I don't know if that number is just inflated or what, but that seems
I believe it.
Extravagant.
If a teddy bear is very small, you could throw it. Yeah, absolutely. And the stadium is very small in Hershey. So yeah, it makes sense.
Right. But 104,000 stuffed animals on the ice. That sounds like an awful lot.
104,000. That sounds a lot, though. Maybe 4,000.
Yeah,
but 104,000.
I
Maybe
could even
104.
say I could live with 20,000.
No, it can't be 104,000. If it's 104,000, that stadium would be
Anyway,
completely filled. I disagree with
a
that.
good
Unless there was donation stuff in
it's
the
a good.
parks.
Yeah, I know. No, that's my point. It's a
Yeah.
tradition, and
Yeah.
all those
It's
go to
amazing, though.
charity, and it's a
Yeah.
good story. Good story. And Eli, so I can't get into it, but it got pretty decent reviews. This TGL, this golf
Yes, I
league,
heard
the
all
team
about it.
golf league.
It's basically
I don't
virtual
see the
simulation golf.
fascination. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to
I
see
think it's
guys
fascinating.
play.
I think it is. Why? Why do I think
can't
it's
get into
fascinating?
it.
Because when they're putting, they're on real grass. They're on real grass when they're putting and when they're hitting and they're doing their shots. And the only thing is the ball hits a screen and it's all animated. I think it's pretty cool. And I think why is
Yeah.
it a good thing? Because I can tell you this right now. If a new generation, I'm not saying me, another kid comes up and watches golf, he's going to say, hey, look at that. I can do that too. I can hit a ball and it can go in virtual reality. That's how you're going to get the younger generation to continue to still watch golf. Because if you play in a regular golf course, you're not going to attract the regular kids to go watch it because they're going to say, oh, it's an old man sport. They're not going to really want to watch it. And I'm not using that as, any harm or anything, but I'm just saying that's how I think the younger generation is viewing this right now. I think the younger generation saying this is actually a good way to teach kids about golf and to inform and say how a simple sport like golf uses so much technology, just like the game on your phone that you play.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good learning point. Not so much for the people who love golf, like you, who and many other people who like golf. This is dumb. I completely understand that. But for the younger generation, this is teaching them a new sport that they probably won't watch. Like typically, they won't typically watch a regular.
That's an interesting take. I mean, and it is funded by Tiger Woods, so they got the buy-in, they got the TV contract for all of it. So.
And stuff, which, like I said, I think it's a great move. I like this a lot because I think it's going to teach the younger generation to continue to watch the game of golf. And it's not going to decrease the viewers. It will rather increase the viewers, in my opinion.
We'll see. We shall see. All right. That's it for me. You got some random?
I got a ton of points that we missed. We'll start with this. Nick Saban is heading to the College Football Hall of Fame. He was announced last night during College Game Day. He will be entering the College Football Hall of Fame. Congrats to him.
No problem there with me.
No, we don't. As Kevin mentioned, former Georgia quarterback Carson Beck, he's heading to the University of Miami.
Wow.
Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter is entering the NFL draft.
He's a beast.
He is a beast. Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles once again and will be out for the 2025 season, which is now in jeopardy per reports.
Huh.
Jalen
Well,
Hurts
you know what that does? That brings in a whole new dynamic to the draft because now Cleveland may be in the market for a quarterback where they may not have been before. Right. And so that opens up a
whole new perspective. Correct.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, he will play Sunday versus the Packers for the Eagles. Snoop Dogg will host the 2025 NFL Honors on February 6th. Can't get enough of Snoop. Now you can watch more now of Snoop.
Boy, I gotta give his agent credit because he's all over the place.
The Browns, the Jaguars, and the Jets will play in London next year. Poor London.
Yeah.
The Ravens, Zay Flowers is out for the season. No, not out for the season. Ravens, Zay Flowers is out for today's game versus Steelers. Not out for the season, just for today's game. Right. David Montgomery with the Lions. He'll be back next week for the divisional round. Chargers sign Ezekiel Elliott to the practice squad, and Packers Christian Watson is out for the season. Both the Winter Classic and the Stadium Series will be played in Florida, as we called. The Winter Classic will now be moved to January 2nd this year, not on New Year's. Reason why? Well, viewership, big issue of it.
Yeah.
And they'll be played on TNT from Lone Depot Park and will feature, out of all teams, the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. I'm so mad about that. How the New York Rangers got another Winter Classic and not the Devils. Shame on them. And on the Stadium Series, February 1st will feature from Raymond James Stadium, the Bruins and Lightning on ABC. Any thoughts on that one?
I like that. I like that stadium series when the Devils and the Rangers and the Islanders all played. I thought that was good. I like that.
I think too, but they really gave Rangers another one, not the Devils. Come on, really? Nobody wants to see the Rangers. Have you seen how bad they are this year? Come on.
Hey, they beat you Devils. They beat you Devils the other night, buddy.
Hey, that's right. That was one. We beat them the other 3 times. Moving along, instead, the Bulls will retire Derrick Rose's #1 jersey in the Raptors next season.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot more news to come. I'm sorry that we have a lot more we missed, so we're going to continue on right here. Wildfires have impacted hundreds of homes in California and are continuing. Most games in the NHL and NBA are being postponed. The Rams are playing in Arizona as a result of this, and many companies are offering their donations. Disney, $15 million, NBA, $1 million, and the LA-themed gear, including LA Strong merchandise from Fanatics, will go directly to relief efforts. Nothing to Fanatics Corporation at select stores. If you can, please donate. And remember, it's not just the rich who are affected. It's regular people's lives as well. Same here, high school where I am. We'll send stuff to the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank next week. And if you're a firefighter or first responder, IHOP and In-N-Out are giving out free meals to you guys.
And let me just say to this. I mean, as devastating as it is, let's not forget a couple of years ago, like Paradise, California got completely wiped off the map. And we see, devastating tornadoes and in Ohio in the Ohio Valley, and people lost everything. So it's, this has got a lot of visibility, and yes, it's a terrible tragedy, but there's going to be another one down the road. But so we don't want to forget the ones that have come before us here.
Correct.
These people have a lot of money, so they'll be able to rebuild, but not, a whole town in Ohio getting wiped off the map. That's a different story.
That's a different story. We are sending, of course, our thoughts and prayers. We'll continue right along. We have a couple more points, then I have a lot. Congestion pricing has officially begun in New York City. So if you're traveling by car, it is a $9 toll in New York City. So I'm so sorry if you have to work in New York City, and we're noticing a big increase on public transportation. Not good for New Jersey, though, because, again, we already have a lot of trouble in New Jersey now with the transit system. Now that's ridiculous there. The 2 fans who grabbed the ball and wrist of Mookie Betts during the World Series at Yankee Stadium, well, they are now banned for life from not only Yankee Stadium, but from every NFL stadium and game for life.
MLB stadium, yeah. Right.
Yeah, every MLB stadium. Right-hander Justin Verlander and the Giants have agreed on a 1-year contract. And after waiting, go ahead.
They're going to pay him $15 million to, he's going to get 3 starts. He's going to blow his arm out, and they're off. Oh, crazy.
Well, that's what happens when you have money in the MLB.
He's trying to get to 300 wins, I think, or 3,000.
Something like that. After waiting a while and despite a lot of lawsuits, Venue Sports, which was supposed to be Fox, TNT, and Warner Brothers and Disney in one app, will no longer be happening. It was a joint decision. It came down to lawsuits and unfair stuff. However, new into the reports, Hulu and Fubo TV Sports are set to combine into a new multi-channel programming distribution. It will combine all Fubo streaming plus Hulu. And this means Disney will now own 70% of Hulu, Fubo TV, after it goes to plan. So this is kind of a good thing and also kind of a bad thing. It just basically means Disney gets more money. Yep. And now we're going to get one app, which helps us out, but it'll be for more money. That's the good and bad of it.
Right.
And after a lot of random points, we're going to move right along now to the entertainment and photo segment. And that is sponsored by Vital Selections. You could scan the QR code to learn more.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go to the movie recommendation, and it's going to go tie into our notable passings because this was Elvis Presley's, would have been his 90th birthday, and I'm a big Elvis guy. So I watched Jailhouse Rock, and that's my movie recommendation. I know a lot of people make fun of Elvis movies, but in this one, it was a very, very good movie from 1957, and I highly recommend it.
Absolutely. Well, here's some, I got one couple news things, and I got one to say my pick for the week. Well, first off, due to the wildfires in California, the Hollywood Squares debut will premiere next Thursday at 8 p.m. on CBS. It was supposed to air this Thursday. They moved it back. Biden's farewell address will be on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Why I'm mentioning that? Because if you like any show that's on a major network, they will not be happening likely because of his address. That's going to be taking place on Wednesday. And new into this week, the Weekend View, the show The View on ABC at 11 o'clock, they're now getting the Weekend View that'll air on ABC News Live, Disney Plus and Hulu, and of course on their YouTube channel. It'll feature an extended version of Hot Topics. All right, well, so if you like The View, you can watch that. But my pick of the week, though, I don't know if I mentioned this, Fox's Animal Control. It's on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. I started watching it after Hell's Kitchen. I liked it. It's a pretty good show.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty funny with Joe McHale and everything. It's just so real. Like I think it's a good show because the animals, how it's like all CGI and stuff, and then it just happens. Like it just.
Yeah, I like Joe McHale actually,
and I think it's pretty funny. I think. And Derek says, "Good morning, Jim and Eli. Thank you again, Derek, and for all those who are watching, and for changing on over. We appreciate that. And now we have some photos.
Yes, and this is that's my granddaughter who went to a Taylor Swift concert the other day. It's so adorable. I was gonna put a video on where she's singing along in the audience,
copyright and stuff.
but
yeah,
the picture, and she went with her friends, and they both all dressed in the same
that's cool
outfit,
and also copyright. But yeah,
and here is, and I mentioned this before about, that's Mike Lynch, one of our prime sponsors of the show on the right, and recovering nicely. We had an opportunity to go visit him yesterday, and he's
Can
doing
I ask
great.
Jim, were you about to sneeze in this photo?
Yeah, I know. I'm not very photogenic, Eli. So.
Like it looked like you just got like a walking.
Yeah, caught me off guard there.
I was so confused. I looked up like, is Jim okay there? I mean, like,
there was one.
I was concerned a little bit.
Yeah, there was one picture I wanted to send because Eric, he sent us a picture because Eli has professed never to have had a Pop-Tart. So he said, sent us a picture. So get out there and get a Pop-Tart, Eli.
Well, did you watch The Lion King, Jim? I forgot that. Before we go out to Notable Passing, did you watch The Lion King as Andrew mentioned last week?
I didn't. No, I did not.
All right. Still on your list, just like the Pop-Tart.
Okay.
All right, let me go walk to Notable Passings.
All right, a couple from kind of the music business. Peter Yarrow, Peter, Paul, and Mary. I know, he was 86, but he was part of that, that generation, the protest generation in Vietnam in the late 60s and early 70s, but they had a lot of hits. Peter, Paul, and Mary. He was the last member to survive that group, and he passed away. And also, I know you know the song Soul Man, right?
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, Sam Moore, part of the Sam and Dave group that had Soul Man, which was a very noticeable. If you heard it, I know you would know. He passed away. He was 89. And excuse me again, Brian Matus, 37. Oh, how young.
Yeah.
Pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles for a while.
So many years.
Yeah. And I just saw that Bill McCartney passed away. He was 84. Now, Bill McCartney.
When was this?
Today.
Wow.
But Bill McCartney was the head coach of Colorado when they won their only national championship back in 1990. And, he was recently inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. That was a surprise, but 84.
Wow. The other one I had was Anita Bryant, who's the Orange Bird singer for Disney and also anti-gay activist. She passed away at the age of 84. She was born in 1940.
Anita Bryant, no kidding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. She was a big spokesman for oranges and so forth, and then became politically active and other things. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Eli.
Well,
wow, we had a lot.
We had a great double show.
No.
Well, and a shout out again to Kevin. We really appreciate him coming on, and we hope that you guys also learn something about ABC and what they do behind the scenes stuff. It's pretty cool. and I'm glad you guys were able to join in and stuff.
Yeah, me too. I'm very happy. Then surprise guest appearance by Rob, of course. But Eli, get ready, put your seatbelt on, and enjoy the game.
Because we got to make, and I got to prepare for that big pick next week for college football. It's going to come down to who am I picking, Notre Dame or Ohio State. We'll get that pick next week, and we hope you join us then on Sports with Mono live at 10 a.m.
All right, enjoy the playoffs, folks, and we'll catch up to you next week. Thanks for joining. Always send us comments or an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
See you, Eli.